This is the last assessment for the year, and of course the last visit at Flume. It's going to happen between 10 November and 17 November. But I'm going to give you the exact date. You are going to receive an SMS again from Boston telling you when exactly you're going to present at Flume. But it should be during 10 and 17 November. So first week of November there. That's when you're going to present. And of course, as mentioned here, this assessment event is a group assignment, and students who presented from digital marketing agencies except for David students. So the assessment will assess your knowledge, understanding, and ability to apply the theory covered within the consumer behavior. So everything, all the notes that you have on Core Campus and the lecture notes and the sessions and the interactions that I've had with you guys, those aspects of consumer behavior are going to be covered in the activity. The good part is that this assignment is split amongst students. That's why we are going to stick to the 5 minutes, because you are only going to spend 5 minutes on a question. So it's no longer 5 minutes on the entire assessment. I don't know if you get me.
Yeah, I get you. So it's 5 minutes for, since there's 3 of us, it's going to be 5 minutes each.
No,
is that what you're saying?
So what is happening is that a group is 25 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So per question, it's going to be 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So if you were 5 students, suppose that you guys are only 3, but you're going to have 25 minutes. So we are going to stick to time, unfortunately, so that everyone has got an opportunity to present. As you saw on Tuesday, some of you ended up rushing because some students wasted time presenting. So we are going to be strict with the 5 minutes. And this assignment is going to be 120 marks. This one, I think it was 110 marks.
Yeah, it was 110.
Yes, it's going to be 120 because there's extra 10 marks for group work. Okay. So despite being a group assignment, you are going to be assessed individually. Okay. So the fact that you have presented as a group, it doesn't mean that you are going to get the same marks. You are going to be assessed based on what you are presenting. However, there are going to be extra marks for the group, to assess teamwork, collaboration, whether the group was syncing or not, but I will go there when we look at the rubric. Yeah. All right, let me go through the brief now.
Okay.
So the focus this time is going to be with the fashion industry. As with the F3, we're looking at the alcohol industry. So this brief is about fashion brief. Read the following brief and execute a comprehensive marketing strategy for Faction. So Faction is the brand that you are going to come up with a marketing strategy for. About the brand, Faction's clothing is designed to be different to what you get in the market. It has unconventional designs with a special South African flavor, which is contemporary cultural prints and textures combined with the latest international trends. While the brand's position is provocative, its clothing designs are not. Then the challenge. Faction is a local fashion brand that has approached our agency to help them solve a key marketing challenge. For the past 10 years, they have been performing well in the market in terms of sales, brand salience, customer preference, etc. In the past year, though, they have seen a sharp decline in sales. Consumer research has shown that people's affiliation with the brand is going down, and competitors are claiming more of fashion's key perceptual advantages, these being provocative, innovative, and exciting. In addition, competitors have been spending more budget to target fashion's core audience, often outspending the brand on campaigns. Then the target audience. Demographics is 20 to 35-year-old males and female across all races, and their essential income bracket is between 20,000 rands to 40,000 rands per month. Then psychographics. These are people who value their individuality and who do not want to conform to the boring everyday. They tend to be well informed about what is happening in the world, both local and abroad, and make up their mind about things. Then competitors, you've got Steve Madden, you've got Diesel, Gista Raw, Superdry, and Levi's. Positioning. Fashion for those with an unconventional view of the world. The key strategic message, do it your way is the way. Doing it your way is the way. With this message, we are advocating for and inspiring people to engage their individual views of the world and not just follow what is happening in the world and what is being said today. The brand tone, challenging, provocative, exciting, and accepting. The current digital platforms, fashion uses the following platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, which is known as Twitter, and digital display. Then the budget is going to be 1.5 million, excluding production. Then the revenue target for the year is going to be 20 million rands, and the deliverables. So overall, you need to advise the client on how to approach their market in a way that will reverse the sales decline. So you need to unpack the key challenge you think the client is facing with their audience. You need to research and advise the client on which platform they should be playing on and how to use those platforms. Would like to see how you would approach communications and digital media for the year. Propose at least one campaign the client can test during the year. Clearly show what messaging the client should be using. Unpack the target audience and target audience research. Explain the digital and social ecosystem you would recommend the client to use. Which innovative tactics and technologies could the client use to stand out? Feel free to recommend any other interesting tactics you see fit to help the client win the market. So this is the brief that you need to work on in groups. Of course, you are going to read it over and over again so that you understand what is it that you are required to do as a team. In comparison to the F3 group, as you can see, this one is in more detail, and also it has got many aspects such as positioning, brand tone, available digital platforms. You are also encouraged to calculate the revenue that you need to bring at the given budget of 1.5 million. So you actually need to measure the return on investment. And all these pointers are going to connect to what you are supposed to do. Of course, you are going to work in groups, though each member of a group is going to look at different components. So these are the components that are going to come out as tasks. So there are 5 tasks that each student must work on. By the fact that you guys are only 3, so it means that you are going to share the remaining tasks. So each and every student is going to have 1 task, then the remaining 2 you need to share. So for example, one student can choose to introduce the topic, which is task 1. Introduce the topic, you identify the trends, then maybe later on you do budget. So you've got 2 tasks there. You know, the layout and the structure is still the same with the F3 assignment, what you previously did it from, so it's still the same. The questioning to some extent, they are also still the same, but it's just that here you are going to work with other students. So you need to work together because you cannot come up with a strategy without knowing what the trends are in the environment. So for example, someone who's going to look at task 3 or task 4, this person will need insights from someone who's going to look at task 1, task 2. So here you've got one body in terms of the marketing strategy, but different parts looking at different components. So you've got legs, you've got hands, but at the same time, all these components belong to one body. So the first task will be to introduce the team members. So you need to come up with a group name, and they're also going to justify why you named a group with a specific name. So introduce your strategy by summarizing the given brief and outline the action plan. Provide a brief overview of what your strategy wants to achieve based on the given brief, the budget, and the target audience, and highlight what you're going to do at each stage of the strategy. So here you also introduce team members and unpack the brief. With introduction, most of you guys got 8 out of 10 because on that one, I think you all did well. You know what you're going to talk about, though most had some stage fright. I saw many students shivering in front. And also most students, based on the marking feedback, struggled with question 2, where you do competitor analysis. Then the second task will be to identify the trends currently influencing the South African fashion industry. So here you need to highlight and explain the 3 current South African fashion industry trends.
Sorry, Abednego, can you please, sorry for interrupting. Can you please move the page up, ne? I can't see the other questions
Serious?
on the screen. Yeah, it's only showing the deliverables only on page 3.
That's very weird because that's not where I am. Let me see
Okay,
on my
now I
phone.
see. Yeah, now I see.
Because I can also see the screen on my phone. So I've got 2 devices here.
Yeah, no, I can see it now.
All right.
Yeah, thank
so
you.
I'm on task 1, part B.
Okay.
Can you see my mouse? That's where I am at the moment. Okay. So yeah, you need to identify the trends currently influencing the South African fashion industry. You know, it's the same thing that you did in your F3. So you've got marks for explaining the trends, and you also need to highlight the importance of those trends to fashion and to the strategy that you're going to come up with. I think students, there were so many challenges with most students here on the trends because that's where most of you guys wasted time. Like you're spending most of the time here, explaining and explaining and explaining, but not linking it to the strategy. But this telling us the causes of alcohol, but how is alcohol going to contribute? Whatever that you are saying about the causes of accidents due to alcohol, how is it going to contribute to your marketing strategy? So you need to give us a link, whatever trends that you are seeing in the industry, whether the millennials are wearing crop tops, whatever that is happening in terms of fashion, tell us how these trends contribute to the marketing strategy that you are developing with that you're coming up. So there has to be a link. You need to contextualize whatever insights that you are finding from the current behaviors or the trends that are happening across the country. It shouldn't be only limited to Johannesburg. It can be in Cape Town. It can be in KwaZulu-Natal or in Nelspruit, wherever that are picking up these trends, but they have to be backed up by facts, with facts. So that's the first task, and this is going to be covered by one student. So part A and part B of this task are going to be covered by one student. Then you have to properly hand over to, after completing this task, you properly hand over to the next student. There has to be a sync in the group to show that this thing was done, was well prepared, and people know what they're talking about. So you just don't leave it there. There shouldn't be any disjoint. You hand it properly to the next student, and then the next student is going to look at market characteristics. If you choose to do these two, it's also fine, but you need to say it that now you are looking at the market characteristics. So I'm now on the second task, which is market characteristics. Are you there? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So here you must explain the influence of governmental and economic factors on marketing activities for fashion. So we discussed this again in class, when looking at the wider environment in which business operates. So what is the role of government, regulation, policies? Think about the POPI Act, think about the tough economic outlook, rising fuel prices, unemployment. All these factors matter on the marketing activities for fashion. So you also need to go out there, look for information, look for facts, look for statistics, and tell us and discuss the economic and governmental factors that fashion must take into consideration and their impact or influence on their marketing activities. So here you need to explain how fashion can react to these factors to remain relevant and competitive. So if there's unemployment, for example, how can fashion react to that, in order for them to remain relevant in the market and to remain competitive? If there are regulations like POPI Act, how do they need to consider this, and how can they react to these factors in order to remain relevant and competitive? So describing each factor, you're going to get 6 marks there, and explaining the so what of each factor, but then going to get 4 marks. So you don't leave a factor there telling us that the fuel prices is increased or there's load shedding. You leave it there. We want to know what you're talking about. You need to link us and show us the correlation between load shedding and what is happening in terms of marketing activities for fashion. Fashion, for example, load shedding can affect media consumption. So consumers during prime time, be it at 8, they want to watch television, and then there's load shedding. It means that if there are any marketing activities, any advertising activities that fashion is partaking in on television, be it on SABC 1, be it on SABC 2, on Zanzibar, whatever it is, it won't work because people are currently not not online in terms of load shedding. So that's how you need to highlight these things. Show us a link, show us a gap on how these are going to link together. Don't just say there's load shedding. Show us how load shedding can influence market activities. So that's what you need to do. That's the first part. The second part, you then provide insights about competitors. Competitors matter here because if you go to the top, here where they say okay, this statement here, I don't know if we're on the same page, if you can see what I'm highlighting here. Can you say that?
Yeah, I can see it.
It says, in addition, competitors have been spending more budget to target fashion's core audience, often outspending the brand on campaign. So, considering this, it means you also need to have a look at the competitors. So, on the second part of task 2, we are going to provide insights about the competitors mentioned in the brief. So, competitors are there. So, you first need to research the competitors. What are the products and the service that they offer? How are they selling? How are they communicating the products? And what is the main message? You must be able to reference the given facts, otherwise you get to say if you have a relevant fact. Simply draw a table and use the questions as headings. What are the products, the service they offer, how are they selling, how are they communicating, and what is the main message? So it's easy. You can get these insights maybe from their website. You go to Diesel website, you look at the products that they sell, you look at their marketing message, the information can also be there on business, on Biz community. Go and have a look, then give us the facts about all these brands. And I'm sure you are familiar with these competitors, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. So already we are on task 2, part A and B. So it means that 2 students would have presented here if it's a normal group with 5 students. Okay. Are there any questions so far?
No, I don't have any questions.
How do you find this assignment so far?
It's more or less the same as the F3. It's just, yeah, I know it also does have a lot of work, but yeah.
Okay.
At least taken from the F3, I will have, or we will have direction on how to compile everything.
Yeah, because I know that you guys somehow saw flames at flow. So at least now it's going to be the second time, and
yeah, so at least the nerves won't be there as much as they were. So yeah.
And you guys know Stefan as well. At least he wasn't that bad. I don't think there's anyone who
No,
failed.
he's not.
There's
No,
no
he's
one who
not.
failed F3 anyway. So it is,
good.
yeah, it's not that bad.
Okay.
Yeah, those who failed are the ones who did not present at all. Because even if you submit something on core campus, but you did not present, yes, that's a sin. I think I mentioned that.
Yeah, I remember you did say.
Yeah. Because there are so many students who uploaded their presentation on core campus. Unfortunately, I'm not marking anything. The person who was marking was a fluke. So I was just taking the marks as they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So now we're on market segmentation. There are also notes on segmentation. Some we're also going to look at them today after this brief. So you need to provide 3 segments and highlight the importance of the given target audience in relation to fashion products. So here you must target the fashion industry in South Africa. So we don't want to see anything Nigerian or Zimbabwean or American. The target is South Africa. You need to select the segment for fashion and highlight the importance of the chosen segment. In addition, explain how the selected segment makes decisions. So we also spoke about decision making. I think it's saying point 1, if not mistaken, like how customers make decisions. There are 5 steps that you need to consider when a consumer makes decision. So that is also going to be highlighted in this assessment. You must provide 3, that's 6 marks. Then if you select a suitable one, it's also going to be 4 marks. Then after part A, you need to develop a segment profile and describe the persona of the target audience provided in the brief. The good part with this one, especially with marketing 3, is that you actually have the insights in your test book. With digital marketing 3, they have to guess because they don't have this. I think it's page 126, I can't remember all. But you guys shouldn't struggle with developing a segment profile because you already have the pointers based on demographics, based on psychographics, based on location, based on behavioral. So it shouldn't be a problem here. So you must develop a segment profile for a typical fashion customer and provide justification for the persona you've created. So here you'll be telling us who is your ideal fashion customer based on the research that you had at the beginning. Remember, you had research here. Here, you did the trends on task 1, part B. You did the trends. You now know what is happening in the fashion industry, who is involved and stuff like that. You now know the government and economic factors. You know the competitors. You know the segments. Then who is your ideal fashion customer? Is it someone who's short? Is it someone who's tall? Is it someone who's working? Is it someone who's not working? Is it someone who's single? Or is it someone who's married? Is it someone who's based in Johannesburg? Or is it someone who's based in KZN? Is it someone who's an introvert? Or is it someone who's an extrovert? So you look at all the types of segmentation, look at psychographics, you look at demographics. You know, you can even look at household income because some of the brands that we consume are also determined by household income. So you look at all those and come up with your ideal customer that you think is suitable for fashion. Fashion. I don't know if I'm making any sense. So your marketing strategy must communicate to someone, must have a target audience. And yes, we need to know who that audience is, where that person is based. You know, because if you identify the recipient of that strategy, then the communication channels, the marketing communication channels that you are going to use are also going to be based on the persona that you've identified. For example, if you identify senior citizens, you can't use TikTok because it's very few or even none of the senior citizens who will be on TikTok as a social media platform. So this task 3 is very crucial to a marketing strategy because it clearly singles out who you want to target. So that's your task 3. Are there any questions about part A and part B of task 3? All right. Now we move on to task 4, which is the heartbeat of the entire assessment. So you need to come up with the marketing strategy. But when you're coming up with marketing strategy, the first part focuses on the marketing mix. So traditionally, we know the 4 Ps, which is price, product, promotion, and place. So you need to explain and discuss the product or service, including packages and product differentiation that fashion can use to serve its target audience best. Give justification for identified marketing objectives. Then you also need to do the same on price, explain and discuss the price, including a pricing strategy that fashion can use to serve the target market best. Also need to discuss the place, including a distribution strategy that fashion can use to serve the target market best. nowadays, place is not only physically bound. That's why you see there's online shopping. Most of you guys order online at Shein. Then the products get delivered, they go through customs. So you need to explain all that, how place is going to be determined here with Faction. Then you also explain and discuss promotional tools that Faction can use to communicate with the market. The 4 Ps are going to look at them briefly after this session. Then you are also going to look at how attitudes are changed. I think this was in the previous assessment where we look at the ABC model, whereby A stands for affective, B stands for behavioral, C stands for cognitive. So you need to explain to us how customer attitudes are changed, discuss 5 ways in which marketing communications can be used to positively influence the attitudes of your customer, of your target market identified in part A of task 3. So you must highlight the rewarding activities in terms of activations on the selected channels. So discussing the marketing communications, you are going to get 5 marks, and highlighting the rewarding marketing activities, you are going to get another 5 marks. So that's what you need to do on task 4. Are there any questions so far, Itumeleng?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. I know students, when it's during the last minute, so this is going to happen between 10 and 11 November.
No.
During the first week of November, people will be bombarding
No,
you with questions.
No, if I need anything, I'll let you know in time. But
Okay.
so far, I do understand. Yeah. Maybe I might get lost in the assignment while I'm doing it. But at least it's a group work, so
Mm,
shouldn't be an issue. But if we have any questions, we'll let you know before time. Yeah.
But here the efforts must be on presentations. The way you present your case determines whether you know what you're talking about or not.
Yeah.
All right. Then the last task, which is task 5, look at marketing channels and budget. So here you're going to use the relationship marketing ladder for customer loyalty. We discussed customer loyalty a couple of weeks ago, I remember very well. So you need to explain how Faction can develop and maintain long-term customer relationships. So explain the stages of the relationship marketing ladder of customer loyalty and how Faction can use them to develop long-term customer relationship. In your answer, use customers from the target market. So as mentioned in the brief, it should be 20 to 35 years old, male and female across all races, to provide examples. So you must explain the stages of the marketing ladder. You're going to get 5 marks for that. So as you can see, if you do not explain this, it means that you've lost 5 marks. So that's how you guys are losing marks during the presentation, because some of your arguments were half-baked. So if they are half-baked, you get half marks. So you need to make sure that you are covering all the components, all the aspects that are being asked in the brief, that if you are being told to do this and do that, don't skip some of the aspects that you should be covering and go to those that you think they are easy, because skipping them simply means that you're also skipping marks. So that's part A. Then part B, you must highlight all the costs that were incurred when coming up with the marketing strategy for Faction. So it's the same thing again, the same table. But here, remember, if you do not use app development, you must remove it. This is just a template to show you guys how you must work on the given budget. If a client gives you a budget, how do you allocate it and how do you work out on the percentage? So this is just a template. Maybe you might decide not to use the radio, remove it. You put whatever channel that you are going to use there. But you need to make sure that your budget must not exceed the one provided in the brief. So in the brief, they say 1.5 million. You need to stick to that. So that's the assignment. And here, as you can see, each task has got 20 marks. Okay. And each part of a task has got 10 marks. So altogether, it should be 100 marks. Then there are 20 more additional marks. These I would call free marks because they do not require your thinking capacity. Like you don't have to go and research, the same way you would do on all these tasks. Here it's based on your conduct because you are going to be presenting. So if you do these things well, you are getting these free marks. Non-verbal cues, your movement during presentation, you are going to get marks for that. Your voice projection, some would be whispering during the presentation. The moment you hear the judges, telling you that raise your voice, we can't hear you, or telling you that you are being so loud, can you reduce your voice? It means that your voice projection there, you need to work on it in order to get the free marks there. The eye contact, I saw students reading from the screen, not looking at the audience. So you need to make sure that you maintain eye contact during the presentation. So these marks are for an individual person. They've got nothing to do with the other group members. That's why I'm saying that the marks are not going to be the same, even if you're presenting in the group, because the focus is going to be on you as an individual. The engagement, are you engaging with the audience? Or there's a disjoint between you, the presenter, and the audience. So you are also going to get free marks for engagement. Then, of course, you are also going to get free marks for professional presentation and conduct. Even the attire, whatever that you're going to be wearing, it also matters here because remember, this exercise is to prepare you for the industry, because at the moment you are just students, but you also need to know how you're going to conduct yourself, especially when you are being briefed by the marketing directors and you need to present before them. So how is your conduct? How do you take questions? I know some students can be overwhelmed, especially when they are being asked questions. You want this to be done and dusted, and yet you are being bombarded with questions, and you might also get emotional and even lose it. So you need to even know how you manage your temper during the presentation, especially when too many questions are being asked. Is it clear to me then?
Sorry, the network is glitching. You were saying at the end?
Okay,
Or you asking if I have any questions?
No, I was asking if it's clear. The
Yeah,
additional
definitely.
marks for individual presentations. Okay. I saw when you guys were presenting at Flume, some were standing as if they were pressed, and I could not understand. Standing as if you want to go to the bathroom, now you are not sure. So you need to have that composure to show that you know what you're talking about and you are confident with the stage that you've been given. Then, of course, you are going to have extra 10 marks for the group presentation. So you are going to get free marks in terms of your content. How is the information that you have on the slides versus the information that you are expressing that is coming out of your mouth in terms of your speech. So you are going to look at content. You're also going to look at creativity. Creativity here comes in two forms. The first form, creativity in terms of your idea. So is your marketing strategy creative? Also creativity in terms of the layout of your presentation. Then we're also going to look at the relationship amongst team members. So if you are working in a group, we need to see whether the group was syncing, like there was coherence in the group, whether you guys collaborated well or the group was disjointed. So there are going to be marks for the group. And you are also going to be assessed based on the research that you conducted as a group. So the information that you get, did you decide on it as a group, or someone actually did everything on behalf of everyone? Then you are also going to look at professional presentation and conduct. For example, if you are working as a group, you are working as the team, it means that all your slides must be the same. The font, the colors, the design, everything, the graphics that you use, even if they are not similar, we need to see some form of consistency there in terms of the presentation that you are going to have. So this presentation is going to be in form of one document. You are not going to bring your own slides and say, I'm going to do task 1. Then another student bring his or her own slides and say, I'm going to do task 2. That's a disjoint. You are going to have a single file as a group. Then you present together, you tell us how the work is going to be split and so on. So those are the 3 marks, the additional marks that you are going to get. Then the same thing, as I said, the group presentation is only 25 minutes. So meaning it's 5 minutes per individual, or since you guys, it's only 3 of you, it's going to be 5 minutes per task. So either 5 minutes per individual or 5 minutes per task. So students are strongly encouraged to stick to the allotted time because of the cutoff when their time is lapsed. This time it's going to be strict. If it's 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes, The moment, and just tell yourself that this is going to be 4 minutes, 30 seconds. So if you work with 4 minutes, 30 seconds, at least you've got 30 seconds to wrap up the presentation or to take any answers. Okay. Yeah. So the presentation must be typed using the font. So it doesn't matter what kind of font you're going to use, but you are going to make sure that there's consistency throughout the presentation. Okay. Some of the information that you might know these. Then, as usual, you're going to print this rubric like you did with the F3. And that's where I'm going to get the marks so that I upload them on Core Campus. So that's it about the S1 assignment. Are there any questions, any comments, any queries?
Just to be clear, ne?
Mm-hmm.
So let me just check. There's task 1 to task 5.
Mm-hmm.
So since there's 3 of us, we're going to do 5 minutes on task 1, 2, and 3, and then task 4 and 5 we can divide it amongst ourselves how we're going to present it. But all in all, it has to be 25 minutes, right?
Okay, so since you guys are only 3, it means you are going to spend 5 minutes per task. Okay, so let's say, of course, you are going to discuss this as a group. So let's say Benten or you decide to do 2 tasks. Let's say you decide to do 2 tasks. It means that you're going to spend 10 minutes on those tasks, 5 minutes on each task.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah, I understand.
So if you do task 1 to 2, it means you've got 10 minutes. Or if you do task 1 and task 5, it means you present first, then you hand it over to someone else, they present, then you come again. It means that you're going to have 5 separate minutes, so that's 10.
Okay.
So per task
So
is
whichever
5
task,
minutes.
it's 5 minutes. Okay,
Yes.
sure. Okay.
Any questions?
No, that's all. Thank you.
All right. I've recorded this brief. So it means that I'm going to put it, I'm going to send a link in the group. I think I must also add you in that marketing 3 group so that you must be well aware of all the communications that I have. So I'm going to add you on that WhatsApp group for marketing 3, even if you are part-time.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for this assessment? If you were told to do it tomorrow, would you do it?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I have to be so that I can pass.
Yeah, those are the vibes that I want to hear. I want to see people.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely ready. I hope the others are ready as well.
They should be. I know that they want to make it up. They want to make it up to everything that happened on Tuesday. That was a learning curve. I'm sure by now you know what you need to do in terms of presenting and also in terms of time management.
Yeah. And also knowing your content. I think if you don't know your content, then it's going to be an issue because now there are factors that can affect presentations like electricity, not having backup or things like that. So yeah.
And I think you also digested the feedback that you got from Stephanie, as well as see what other students
No,
would
he
do.
didn't give me any feedback. I think because of time. Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
That's too bad. That's too bad.
Yeah.
But you also saw how others presented, right?
Yeah. So I took from what he said to the other students. I'm just going to use that and go with it.
Okay, and I'm done marking assignments. I don't know if you've received your comments yet, but comments
I'll
are
check
there
them
on
shortly.
Core Campus. Yeah, but those marks that you can, because some students say they are able to see the marks. If you are able to see the marks on Core Campus, they are not yet official. They need to be audited. So
okay.
I think marks are going to be officially announced next week. Sometimes they might not change, sometimes they might change. So,
okay.
For example, if you got a 90, don't celebrate yet. It can come back as 50.
Okay.
Or if you got 40, no, don't cry yet. You might come back as something positive.
Yeah. All right. No problem.
Okay, that's it for the brief. Then the next one we are going to look at the lessons for today.
Okay. All right. So I'm about to have what's this load shedding? Ne? So is it fine if